continue with my assertions that this all fell under extenuating circumstances, and I also believe that Nancy Leader saw that. She also saw the validity, but refused. She said it was out of her jurisdiction, out of her scope, to address the criminal allegations here, but my contention is that as an attorney, I believe that we're saying that there was crimes committed against me and my property. There was frauds and all kinds of frauds and embezzlement going on here, that you guys have a duty under your oath to report these and address these crimes. And I believe that Mr. Geisinger, I'm not sure what he thinks his power is here as a head of building planning, but there's been statements on the record, and I have videos of him saying, basically declaring that I've gotten enough due process. And it's not up to the plaintiff to determine what my due process rights are. I believe Mr. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Geisinger, Mr. Geisinger. I believe he's dishonest, which is further enforced by his Exparte communications.
My understanding is that you're referring to, just for a moment, I'd like to make the record clear. You're referring to an email that came in from Mr. Geisinger with regard to his question about he had a misunderstanding that the hearing was going to be in person, so it is not. And that was one of the primary issues with regard to that. And I have taken a look at his email as well as your reputation, which also would be arguably characterized as ex parte. So I thought
it was still on the email chain. It was still on the email chain, and let me also add this to the record, that ex parte communication with you was concealed from my view until I forwarded it to an associate of mine. And then he said, "Did you see this?" And that's when I became aware that it had been scrubbed from the email chain that was sent to me by the administrative hearing office.
Let me please clarify this. The email did come in on a reply to a hearing notice, and that is why you were sent a copy of it, to make sure that all parties have a level playing field. And knowing that you're pro per, we want to make sure that you have due notice of anything that is known by the court with regard to this case. That is how you got a copy of it.
However, ma'am,
specifically ensured that you had a copy.
Ma'am, I did not receive, that was hidden from my view, which would be consistent with someone deleting that email from Mr. Geisinger out of the chain before it was sent to me, but it was still embedded in the email, and when I forwarded it, it became visible. That's the only way that I knew about that, and that contained many prejudicial statements, and that was never sent to me directly on an open email. I discovered that by a fluke, which goes along with the deceptive and fraudulent practices that I have been subjected to by Washoe County. I also would like to bring up another instance of that when, in following Nancy Leader's ruling that I obtain my permits, I immediately contacted Kelly Mullen, head of the permitting division, and received the same email back. Oh, you don't have any more extensions left, which is contrary to the representations that I have in writing that are in the exhibits that said that I had 2 more left. Okay? She then, in another conversation that is also in the email concerning the Board of Adjustments hearing, she said, even if they rule for you at the Board of Adjustments, you still are not going to get your permits back because you didn't appeal them within 10 days. And my reply to that was, you refused to answer my emails for 30 days. I have that documented. It's in the exhibits. You refused. They did not answer for 30 days, and then how many months later, 6 months or 9 months later, are saying, oh, you missed the deadline. I mean, it's just been one circumstance after another. Okay? I mean,
and if you could wait for just a moment, Mr. Crawford, with regard to specifically the email that you had referenced that Mr. Giesinger had indicated that his office has been quite busy and that it may present a burden to continue on past the hour, which is ordinarily what we allow for these hearings. So
I'm sorry, ma'am, but it said 2 hours.
Mr. Balfour, I'm speaking. You need to be quiet for just a moment. Mr. Giesinger and Mr. Farmer, my understanding is that it was a burden to create a situation where you may need to stay for the second hour of this hearing, depending upon how long it lasts. So I'm going to ask at this moment, is there any difficulty with someone from code enforcement staying, or please let me know where you're at with this.
I can remain and answer any questions.
Mr. Giesinger?
Yes, thank you, Hearing Officer Barrow. Really appreciate that. I actually was able to cancel. Well, I'm not going to attend. I was supposed to go to a workshop on the AB 211 receivership stuff, so that's why I really wanted to go to that, but I ended up canceling it so that I could stay if I did necessary. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Giesinger. Mr. Balfour, please continue, sir.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to question Mr. Giesinger.
At this time, I would like to ask, what is your line of questioning?
What is my line of questioning? Well, it's varied, but one of the things that's going to come up is this ex parte communication and ex parte communications with Rob Pierce of the Board of Adjustments and where exactly, see, I walked into an Board of Adjustments hearing naively believing that I was going to get some type of fair adjudication there.
Sir, you're permitted limited questioning. Go ahead. With regard to the issues you just identified.
Mr. Giesinger, can you please state your full name for the record?
No, I already swore oath. Yeah, my name.
Mr. Giesinger, go ahead, if you wouldn't mind your full name.
Chadwick Lloyd Giesinger.
Excuse me, I didn't get the middle name. Can you please repeat that?
L.
What does that L stand for?
Lloyd.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. At what point did my Board of Adjustment hearing become Washoe County's appeal of the administrative hearing decision by Nancy Leader? I mean, I need a date, a time, something. When did that suddenly transform from my appeal to your and Washoe County's appeal?
Both parties have appeal rights when a hearing order is rendered. The county exercises its appeal rights within the appeal window.
Was I ever notified? No, excuse me, let me back up a minute. Can you tell me the date that the county filed its appeal?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was within the appeal.
Well, I tend to disagree. I tend to disagree because I was within a week.
Mr. Belfort, do you have a specific date in mind?
Well,
That was outside the date, if
I can't.
the document.
My appeal,
It was within the 25 days.
it was not, because I was at the edge of the 25 days. I did not receive verification of the hearing for another 30 days. So he was outside of it. Did you ever, Mr. Giesinger, did you ever provide me with the exhibits for that hearing? That your evidence for that hearing. Did you ever provide me with those?
Yes, you were provided with everything per the procedures of the Board of Adjustment hearing, and your appeal window for making all these arguments is over with. You already went to district court. It was dismissed. So it's all irrelevant.
Well, ma'am,
If you had those grievances, you had your chance to appeal them.
I object to Mr. Geisinger making rulings and calling my assertions irrelevant here. Because I'm going to tell you
Question.
have you had any ex parte communications with Rob Pierce?
No.
Have you, Mr. Giesinger, have you had any ex parte communications with District Attorney Hicks or any of his deputies?
No.
Mr. Giesinger, have you had any ex parte communications with Administrative Hearing Officer Byer?
I emailed a clarification for when I got the hearing notice. That was it.
Did that communication contain any statements or information that may influence or bias her decision?
Mr. Belfort, that document speaks for itself, and Mr. Giesinger is not perhaps in a position to indicate whether or not it influenced or not. You also, again, sir, presented an email response to Mr. Giesinger's email.
Yes,